Good evening, magical friends. I'm psychic medium Riz the Wiz.
And I'm Lady O.
And we bring you Psychic Couple Reacts.
That's right.
Aren't we supposed to say that together?
We are supposed to say that together.
All right. Well, we'll just kind of like wing it this time. Hi, how are you?
I am excellent. And I actually look forward to filming this show all the time.
Yeah.
Because this is so exciting to break down these paranormal episodes. And there are so many that like really challenge us. And we are, I mean, who can be an expert really in the paranormal field? But I mean, we have a lot of experience.
Well, we like to put our 2 cents in, you know, doing this psychic work for over a decade and a half and all over the world. We've done everything, thousands of psychic readings that I've done, mediumship readings and channeling of spirit guides over probably 2,000 hours of it, and you doing all of your sessions with people as an intuitive empath. I think that what we do at home, which is when we watch these shows, we have a lot to say about what we think is going on. And so we wanted to share it with you, and we can watch together.
So you're getting a little insight, like you're sitting in the living room with us, because this is what we do when we're alone watching.
And this is our living room. So.
And we literally have to comment and talk about like all the supernatural events that are happening and occurring and trying to figure out. So this particular episode is called...
Well, the show is Paranormal Emergency, which is on the Discovery Plus network, which we love because they just have a million shows.
Yeah.
I mean, check it out, guys, because the list goes on and on. You'll be set for like the year to binge watch just paranormal shows.
Yep.
So this is Paranormal Emergency, which are first responders.
Yeah, first responders. This one is called The Devil Can Do Bad Things. And I have never come across a story like this.
Yeah.
It's so compelling that we want you to watch every part of it. So we're going to only fast forward through the parts that we want to, you know, talk to you and stuff. But this is like so gripping that every single moment of it.
Yeah, I was taken. This one caught my attention because of all the paranormal in-person investigations that we have done. And we've had some really wild stories, which we'll share with you guys. This ranks up there. Yeah. So we're going to dive in. So get cozy, get your popcorn, light a candle, and get your magical cat with you. By the way, this is Moomy. This is our magical cat. And she loves to watch with us. So
yeah,
welcome. Let's begin.
Okay, here we go.
I'm 60 now, and it's like it happened yesterday. I remember it forever. And if someone calls me a liar, I'm going to kick your ass because I saw what I saw.
He means that.
Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
I love how it's like this happy, like the British Bake Off kind of intro.
Do you notice that there's a lot of hauntings in Pennsylvania? There's a lot of shows that take place in Pennsylvania.
If you're from Pennsylvania, drop us a note about what you know about that.
The town is a lot livelier than you would think for the population.
Okay.
Officer Richard Wolbert has served this community for his entire career, and he knows there's more going on in this small town than meets the eye.
I love those shots when they show the city like that.
We were always busy.
You always say that.
It was regular police calls, you know, burglaries, assaults, public drunkenness, you know, noise complaints, dog complaints, traffic accidents, a lot of traffic accidents. As far as, you know, criminal investigations go, you do the same thing with every case. Even if you are confused by something when you first walk into a crime scene, you're gonna figure it out. But then on one night, something really out of the ordinary happened.
That's an interesting.
Wolbert, this is Bojan. I got a situation here.
My partner at that night was John Bojan.
John, you okay?
John Bojan.
Yeah, I'm fine. At a 1090.
I want to say that a few times.
214 Beale Street, south of Maple. I could really use your assistance on this one.
Officer John Bojan has served on the police force with Officer Wolbert since beginning his career.
I was early in my career at this point, and I was a patrolman. There's some sort of a situation at the house, and I didn't know what to think. It was just so freaky. One of the things that we do is you notify your partner, and he will double up with you. I called Rich on the radio.
There was only 2 of us on the road at a time. You know, we were each other's first person to call for help.
I'm on my way. What's going on?
You should probably head on in and take a look for yourself.
I wanted him to experience it and make up his own mind, so I put
Hugo.
no notions in his head as to what he was about to walk into.
That was interesting. He doesn't want to.
I opened the door, walked inside, and I started getting pelted by little droplets of water.
Is there a leak?
No.
The water didn't come from one particular source that I could identify.
It's not just me, right? Like, this is weird.
The people that live there, very confused.
This is Officer Wilbert, my partner.
It's not raining.
This is Linda and Reggie.
And they said the water started flying around inside the house, and they couldn't figure out where the water was coming from. It's not coming from the ceiling or not coming from the wall, it's coming up out of the floor. And it just seemed to dissipate, just seemed to disappear.
So, is it like a broken pipe or something?
There are no pipes here.
There are no pipes.
Plumbing, of course, could have been an issue.
All the pipes are in the back of the house.
Do you mind if we take a look?
Okay, it's not raining. The pipes are not in the floorboards.
The bathroom's above the kitchen, up the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
So we're
flying.
like looking for leaks. There's no
Around.
leaks.
This was scary because the water didn't come from one particular source that I could identify. They came from every direction. And then while we were standing there, a drop materialized off to the side.
There was a droplet of water that started somewhere out here.
Did you see that?
Flew right between it. And the two of us watched it.
It was one single drop that went perfectly straight. It didn't have an arc to it. It didn't hit the floor. It went perfectly straight as if it was riding on a very taut string. I mean, I literally had chills when that happened, and I still do when I think about it. It wasn't rain.
Okay.
It was.
Right. Yo, this is when
my
you go,
God.
bro. This isn't the moment where you just go, bro, or
personally,
yo,
yeah.
or hold up.
I mean, I think I actually would leave my body. I mean,
so guys, the water went sideways. Okay, let's
Okay,
just be
so,
let's just
yeah,
be really
let's just have a
clear.
moment.
The water appeared in midair.
Yeah.
The droplet extended and started moving
Right.
left or right
Right.
across the room.
Across the
then he
room.
said it dissipated. The second cop goes, it dissipated.
Right.
Which means that there is some sort of dematerialization that's happening. That this substance may not just be water, but there's an etheric quality to it, meaning there's something that is multidimensional.
But you know they're getting wet also, so this is
Right.
fully materialized.
So it's materialized, but when he said it dissipated after it hit him, he wasn't saying that
This is not a science project. This
No,
is not
no.
science.
No.
You can't solve this.
Let's go.
It wasn't a leaky pipe. It was individual drops of water that materialized from somewhere and just flew and defied gravity. It was downright spooky.
Rain dropping on my head doesn't scare me, but something flying across my face, it's almost like you're standing there and
Yeah,
you're watching
brother.
bullets go by you.
Of course.
It's like, did you hear that? It's like bullets.
Like
At that
bullets
point,
going.
I noticed
Look at that.
an individual that was on the couch, sitting there as if he was in a trance.
He's
that?
like as if he's in a trance.
It's our friend Donnie. He's staying with us for the weekend.
Well, Donnie, we have some questions for you.
And the only person who was giving me strange vibes was Donnie.
How you doing, Donnie?
Good.
It was weird that we were all trying to figure out how this water, where it was coming from, and he was just sitting there doing nothing.
Brings you to town, Donnie.
He's here for a funeral.
He was committed into the Minor County Jail. His grandfather passed away, so they allowed him to leave to attend the grandfather's funeral.
They allow
That's
you to
probably
leave for a
2 or 3
funeral?
days that he was allowed out.
3
So
days.
while he was out on furlough, they let him stay there with him.
Oh, right.
He made a mistake. He's paying for it. He's not a bad guy. I'm sure he misses his grandfather, don't you?
I'd say maybe that was a little odd that he was so quiet, but on the other hand, this was such an odd situation that what is normal?
It's
They
almost
said
as if
Donnie
he's in
went to the
that
grandfather's
in that
funeral,
warp of
and then
energy.
Right after that was when this water started.
It's Grandpa. Grandpa's doing this.
Now I'm feeling more scared, more
Grandpa's doing this.
confused, more like I don't want to be here. But that was in the beginning, and then that just seemed to get worse.
Okay, so what he's experiencing here, this guy has just gone through the death of his
When
grandfather.
Officer Richard
He's already was in jail.
Yep.
Okay, and now he's sitting in the house. So he's gone to the funeral, and attachments can happen.
Yeah.
So there is clearly something between him and the grandfather.
Right. Yeah. I personally think, I mean, obviously this guy's in an altered state. He's not in his like quote unquote right mind. I feel like he's like half of him is involved with the grandfather in some way, and the other half of him, there's some belief systems going on, obviously, that he's engaged in. But yeah, let's see what else happens.
Difficult man.
Donnie said there was something going on between the grandfather, that he had abused him, allegedly.
Yep.
I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. Can I go?
Yeah, you can
What are
just
we
go to
gonna do
sleep
about
after
this?
this.
Listen, there's
I
no
think he's ready
criminality
to
here.
pass
This
out.
isn't a
Yeah.
police matter.
He needs to lay down.
By little droplets of water. We couldn't figure out what was happening, but nobody's getting hurt at this point.
What I can do is, I'll take it up with the chief, okay? You guys just stay.
And that's what you do. You push it up the flagpole.
Yeah. What's the chief gonna say?
What do you think?
I have no idea what to think.
I figure, well, there's a good choice. We'll go get the chief and see what he thinks. But the chief didn't want us to make an official police incident out of it.
Okay.
It's
Because
not a
what
police
can you say?
matter.
I mean, you just have to say what
I
happened. You
thought,
do a
it
report
was
that you
over
did a
with.
call to the house.
Yeah.
But as the hour grows late, the terrifying activity inside the house intensifies.
No way is that finished.
They called, asked for me specifically. They asked the dispatcher if I was on or John was on.
They asked for him specifically. He was like,
I'm like, oh my God, this is like really getting nuts.
You gotta help us. There's something. It must be.
What's going on?
Wait till you
I'm
see.
trying to explain
And
to
I know
him.
that you didn't
Just
watch
calm
this
down.
whole
You guys
episode.
I didn't. I
come
only
here and
watched
deal
the
with
3
this,
quarters.
okay?
So wait till you see what happens here.
There's the grandson.
When Don Decker went to the bathroom, they explained that he was washing his hands.
Don't you hate when they show someone near a mirror?
Yes.
The water went up the faucet.
Yes. And up the mirror. And then
Something hit him and literally knocked him across the room and into the wall.
Donnie! Donnie!
Donnie, you
What?
okay in there?
Okay.
Oh my God!
So this is an actual physical attack from the spirit.
No!
Don had scratches on his face, the back of his hand, like this, something that would come from a claw, that kind of a thing.
This
that
is
happens way
not just
too
water flying around the room.
often.
Quite often, actually,
Yeah.
guys.
Knocked him over, knocked him on the ground.
What?
It's Grandpa.
Okay, it's okay. It's enough about Grandpa.
Oh,
They said he levitated and got thrown across the room by something that they couldn't see. Is this the way the devil works? You know, what's the normal operating procedure for the devil?
check the handbook.
What's going on?
I can't take this anymore.
Okay, let's go in.
Let's do this.
Oh, he's like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
Well, they're lighting candles, which is a good start.
I wouldn't light red.
But I would light any candles you can to start. That is not a good sign.
LED candles are not going to work in this
And
situation.
statues of bloody Jesus
No.
tells me that you believe in a lot of
Kind of God and devil kind of
God
belief
and
systems.
devil.
Mhm.
I mean, I believe in
Some
God, but I
droplets
don't
coming
believe
down,
in the
but
devil.
Right.
The ones that were freaking me out were the ones that were running horizontally, flying past me, flying at me. Because I'm just, And you couldn't even put
You
your
see,
hand up
it
to stop
dissipated.
it.
That's what they're trying to show you there.
Right.
It's just totally creepy now. Somebody
Okay.
explain this to me, or make it go away. You know, one or the other.
Can we pause it there for a second? Okay, so now what I see is clearly we have to talk about how the belief system of the people who are in the house does affect how things are showing up. Certainly, how, of course, how they interpret it, because when something happens, notice even in that town, the cop, it's a small town. The cop is like, is this how the devil works?
Right.
He didn't even go from like beginning with ghosts or the spirit of the grandfather.
Right,
He
we're going
already
straight to the devil.
he already had the grandfather, idea that
Yeah.
okay, maybe the grandfather's doing
Well,
this.
Christians and Catholics believe in the devil, so
Well-
they're probably. I mean, obviously they're Christian or Catholic.
Sure.
So that belief system calls in that kind of energy because you believe in demons and devils, and so it's like if you believe in it, you believe it's real.
Well, you
So
attract it.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
because your frequency is attracting that kind of energy.
Now, it does happen to people who don't believe anything at all also.
Right.
But as it's unfolding, how you're reacting and responding is going to, it's kind of like you just started a snowball effect.
Right.
Where everything that happens, you're not going to be able to differentiate between just what is paranormal without you needing to be afraid of it.
Right.
Right. Now, in this case, this is extreme, right?
Right.
There's actual physical violence coming
Yeah.
from the spirit. There's manifestation, materialization going on. This house could be on a portal.
Yeah.
This house could be on burial ground.
Right.
This may have nothing to do with the grandfather, but the sadness that the guy is feeling. So the sadness the guy is feeling, the nervousness of the family that's letting him stay there, this convict stay for the weekend. This creates this kind of this opening, because sadness is this opening where you start to feel more negative.
Right.
Okay, so you're kind of creating this perfect environment and like a petri dish
Right.
for this to occur.
Okay, so let's keep going.
The only person getting hurt was Don, that was affecting was Don. There is no protocol for something like this. How would you train for it? Why would you train for it?
That's what my dad said to me when I
Lord
said I'm going
is
to be a
my
medium.
shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me
Oh.
lie down in green
Oh, girl.
pastures.
Jeannie was sitting on the floor with a Bible open. There's a devil involved here. Could someone please explain to me how something like this is possible? Is this an exorcism?
There's
How did she
something
know what
positively
passage to
evil
go
going
to?
on in this house.
Well, because I used to be Christian, so this is like a common
Yeah.
verse.
Flying about the room.
The scariest part was the Bible. I'll never forget that.
He restored my soul!
She would read a passage, and all the water that was flying about the room was concentrated on her and on the Bible.
Wow. Okay.
That time it was coming down.
Why was that happening? So let's talk about that.
Well, I was raised a very strict Christian my whole life. You
Yeah.
know, when I was 25 or 24, that's when I had my big awakening and realized that religion is a stepping stone. It's not the final truth.
Right.
So I always was reading the Bible, prayer meetings and Bible studies and all these things. And my dad would always talk to me about demons and devils. And I was
Yeah.
a little girl and I was terrified. And every single time he talked about it with me, I was terrified. The Bible became a tool, and it became like the word of God. So
Sure.
you're going to hold it up against the devil. You can use the word of God, and that's your protection.
Yeah.
So it's this whole drama. There's a huge drama. There's a lot of fear involved. It's a lot of fear of these deep, dark forces. You know, there is dark forces. I'm not saying that there is not dark forces. I don't give it the name devil. I just believe that there's malicious intent in some cases.
Yeah.
If they want to manifest themselves with horns and wings and all that
Well,
stuff.
they know what scares people,
Exactly.
right? So if you come up with, let's say that for some people, horns and wings aren't scary. So that spirit doesn't take that on because they're trying to affect you in this physical life. So they're going to go to, they kind of have the, they do have this ability because they're not in the physical body, that because of their intentions, they're able to manifest in a physical form that is going to scare you. Okay. So we all know, anyone who's done any history, the whole idea of horns and the devil simply is when religion went into pagan earth religious cultures that had references to like the god of the forest had horns, and it was a very loving, happy, flute playing god, like Cernunnos from the Celtic tradition. And then they took that symbol and said it was the devil because they wanted to convert these people. So you're not having this kind of, if you were a Celtic pagan, you'd be happy to see someone maybe with a horn, who knows? But this is very interesting, guys, because a lot of people do, we don't want to get too much into that discussion about the specific religions and all that, but we're just working with belief systems. So this is what's freaking them out. Notice he said the scariest thing was that it was raining on the Bible. And I feel that spirit knew that that's what was going to freak them out the most, right? Because it was like a meaning.
Okay.
Reading the paper on the Bible and making all this racket. It's almost like a popping sound, and it was just like pop, 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 pop. And my hair stood up back on my neck, and this is like, I mean, it's the Bible. The water's now pummeling the Bible. They're provoking this thing.
He restored my soul!
Whatever, I'm calling the thing, I don't even know what it was. But that's what it seemed like to me. Saying prayers is agitating it and making it mad.
Energetic but not your back.
The whole experience was terrifying. Whatever it was, does it get into your heart, to your soul, into your being? Does it change you?
Will you help us?
At that point, I was positive.
The cop is like,
whatever this was evil.
You need to get out of here.
The family asked, what should we do? And my exact words, I'd get the hell out of here. Take everybody and get out of here until we find out what's going on, which they didn't do.
I can't leave him.
This is something that's best left to a professional in that field, a priest, to do an exorcism.
Or a shaman.
Possibly.
That's not the
I
expert in that field.
That a professional in that field.
I mean, I was
He's
like,
a professional in the storyline of that field.
But he doesn't know what's really going on.
The most
The only way
thing
that
I've ever seen in my life.
The only way it would actually work if a priest got involved is if there was a connection he was having with the person he was talking to raise the vibration of the person he was talking to and perform a form of healing to that person.
Sure.
Because I was in a room where there was an exorcism going on in our church. I was like 13.
Yeah,
and
I think
got
you had
to
told
see
me
it,
about
and
that.
there had been many exorcism like weekly. It was very terrifying.
They go on a lot more than you realize.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely
like
one
the casting
way
out. They don't really call it an exorcism. It's sort of a casting out of it. But that's kind of like clearing your energy. And I mean, shamans, we talk about how a spirit, even in certain sacred ceremonies, medicine ceremonies, you have to be careful that a spirit that is wandering doesn't walk in, right? So these are facts of life that happen.
When you trance channel, you have your bodyguard, your gatekeeper ready, who doesn't allow any low vibrational entities to enter into you to speak. And it's always a very loving, high vibrational source. And so, I think this really comes down to vibration, because obviously if the spirit has malintent of any kind, it's just a lower vibration in general. So the vibration has to be lifted.
Within the person that is experiencing
Correct.
it. Yeah.
And the environment also can be lifted energetically.
Sure.
So I'm going to keep going.
I've seen a lot of like crazy stuff, but nothing like that.
Donnie returns to prison the following morning, and the mysterious activity inside the home ends.
Okay.
After Donnie left, went back to jail.
To what happens.
Whatever it was, it went with him.
When he went back to the county jail, the water droplets were flying around the jail as well. And I mean, I talked to guys that I worked with at that jail that I trust 100%. And what they said was the same thing that I saw.
The prison chaplain performs an exorcism on Donnie, and the mysterious water phenomenon stops for good.
And that's the end of that.
There's conjecture that it had something to do with the grandfather because it was so close to his funeral that, you know, he somehow manifested it.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
have plenty to say on
the
this.
grandfather allegedly molested him.
Right.
And there is
And you know, water represents emotions and tears, sadness.
Sure.
In this case.
But this would be that something that deep emotional trauma, which leaves you vulnerable and open to spirits. Notice that, you know, when you guys know that they call alcohol spirits, right? That comes from the Arabic word al-kul, A-L-K-U-H-L. Al-kul became alcohol. And that Arabic word meant the spirits. And so, because they knew in those old times that when you drank, you were leaving yourself vulnerable and open. A lot of people who have been drunk, wasted, they get these attachments of entities who are hanging around. And if there's someone on the other side that you have unresolved trauma with or is kind of mentally unstable, and clearly if he was getting abused by his grandfather, it was great mental instability. So this is so many factors along with karmically, like his soul going through this emotional drama in this life for him to get through. All of these factors together, it was almost like it was a pot of boiling water that was just, you take the lid off, it was just going to explode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of the volcano that's erupting in Iceland. And I said to you the other day, I said, that's like when you pop a boil.
Oh, yeah.
Because the pressure builds up on the planet. And
Right.
I was like, there's a lot of pressure on this planet right now. And this is like the Earth's way of releasing that pressure, I feel like.
Well, we're not separate from nature. And
the
as a
Earth
shaman, I will tell you
is
that
all
we
energy.
have. Exactly.
Yeah.
So those intentions, and many times in the past, those rain dances of the tribes in different parts of the world, or whatever they got together and set that conscious collective intention, began to affect even the weather. And why wouldn't it? We are part of nature, and our vibration is, I want to say that all of our vibrations together are always creating something. So this is a classic example of that. But boy, the claw marks on him, Grandpa was out of control.
Yeah, I mean, I think the psychic connection that they have between each other from the moment of abuse until the moment of death, I think remained, and there was so much karmic pressure and there was so much uneasiness and unsolved, you know, pain from both sides that I think it just manifested all the way to this extent. And it went to, I mean, who knows why he was in jail, but like he was troubled.
For me, the sad part is that they're not understanding deeper. Maybe hopefully this couple went on to dive into why these things occur and understand the emotions that create it.
Well, isn't in India gurus, there's some gurus that can manifest things in their hands
For
and
sure.
walk through walls?
Well, I mean, I've seen it myself where the guru has created water droplets in their hand, also powder coming through the fingertips.
And that's not
right in
done
front of me,
any
just like
distress.
this.
There's no distress or pain and suffering when they do that.
Right. They
It's
have
just a different belief system.
Well, they have a deep understanding of energy. It's not even, it is a belief
It's
system.
like people who bend spoons.
But it's a knowledge, see? It's beyond the belief system. They know that we are made of energy. And so that knowing then creates that
because they
actual
don't
thing happening.
They don't resist. Like our laws of physics and our science tells us one thing, but they go further. They don't stop there.
Well, specifically about Indian belief systems, it's very interesting because what I've always admired about the Indian belief system and the deep Hindu belief system was that it was more about a discussion and openness, that there was all possibilities and that they were open to be questioned. Even the gods could be questioned as to the behavior, and then to dive into that. It's an inquisitive, exploratory, very open kind of philosophy. Yeah. So amazing. I love this episode. Guys, let us know what you think.
Yeah, definitely. Deep metaphysical episode.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts, and I don't know what else to say.
And
I'm
if
a
you're
little speechless on this episode.
This was unbelievable. Let us know if you've experienced any kind of physical contact from a spirit. And we're going to talk about how to deal with that also physically when it's happening. And so people can learn a little bit of more shamanic protection from crystals.
Do you want to talk about that now?
Well, we might as well. You know, sage, frankincense, crystals, greeting your house with crystals.
Right.
Learning how to do that remember, everything is giving off an energy.
And it's also a belief. So when you light your fire, you light your candle, you have an intention, and that fire is energy, and it's mutable, and it's a mutation of energy. It's just how it manifests itself in the form of fire.
Well, light has always been, whether it's in any religious institution, they always light candles or incense, right? They burn frankincense even at the Vatican. These are tools. Everything is a tool, you know? You have vegetables that heal certain parts of your body.
Why did you say they light incense at the Vatican?
They do.
But that's interesting, that comment. What does that mean?
Meaning that they understood, even in religions, that fragrance, smoke, and light does cleanse the energy of a space. And so that's why it feels so. Don't you feel better when you have all these white candles?
Well, Native people have been doing that. Religious people do that. Non-religious people do that. And
there is an energy to purify the
so
the air.
saging and using, incense of different kinds, like frankincense.
Well, I like personally, yes, you can light incense. I personally, on a personal note, I want to say that incense just has a lot of chemicals in it.
Yeah.
But you can buy the spray of essential oils that
Like
have
sage.
sandalwood and sage. But burning frankincense is very powerful. And we'll give some more tips as time goes on.
Yeah, this is a deeper topic, but I hope this helped somebody and helped you see a little deeper into this topic. Leave us your thoughts, like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.